Hello, welcome back here to Lady Love Said Reads. My name is Jessica, and these are the new releases in July 2025 that I have my eye on. So the books that I'm sharing with you here today are books that I have my eye on. They're new releases coming out in July 2025. I may or may not read these. They might end up getting read in 2026. For some of them, I might wait and see what other people think before I give it a go. But there are about 18 books on the list to talk about. Some of these look like they are pretty dark. So if you have triggers that you're concerned about, I do recommend checking the app story graph before picking them up to make sure that, it's something that will be safe for you to read. Let's just get into it. I am using a spreadsheet that I made to talk through them. So, I'll be looking at it. And to help me with the descriptions, I'm working with Goodreads. On July 15th, The Bewitching by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. This looks like an adult horror. 3 women in 3 different eras encounter danger and witchcraft in this eerie, multi-generational horror saga. Sylvia Moreno Garcia wrote Mexican Gothic, which is a horror, and I thought it was so very good. So I've read one other book by her. I've read her Noir, which was pretty good. For noir, I'm not super into noir, but it was good for noir. And I'm looking forward to getting back to one of her horrors. On July 29th, Glorious Rivals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is book 2 in the Grandest Game series, which is a spin-off from her Inheritance Games series. It is a young adult thriller mystery. I read the first book in this series, which is called The Grandest Game. I read that earlier in the year. Didn't love it, but I'm hoping that this one is a little bit better. If it's not, I guess I'll be done with the series. But I don't really want to give you the synopsis of it because it's going to spoil so much. But the Inheritance Games, which is what starts this whole story arc, is about how Avery, this young girl, inherits a billionaire's estate. She doesn't even know him. And so she tries to figure out, why is she inheriting this estate and what is she going to do? And the Inheritance Games series is really, really good. And then, the first book in this spinoff was a bit of a disappointment for me, but we'll see what book 2 is like. Also on July 29th, We Won't All Survive by Kate Ellis Marshall. If you've been around my channel for a while, you know that Kate Ellis Marshall is one of my favorite thriller horror writers. I've read from all of her reading levels. She writes middle grade, young adult, and adult thriller horror, and I loved so much of her body of work. She's only really had one dud for me so far. So in this one, it says, 2 years ago, Mercy Gray was hailed as a hero for saving lives during a mall shooting. Oof. She still carries souvenirs from that incident. The fragment of a bullet lodged in her back, a mountain of medical debt, and guilt for ignoring her sister's warnings that the sweet boy next door was anything but. Oh my gosh. When billionaire turned TV host Damien Dare recruits Mercy to compete on his new survivalist reality show, she can't turn down a chance at the whopping cash prize that could send her sister to college. But when she and the other contestants arrive at the off-grid location, something isn't right. The set is empty, the gates close without warning, trapping them inside. Then one of them turns up dead. That sounds amazing! And I think that she will do this very, very well. Also on July 29th, Bones at the Crossroads by Ladarian Williams. This is book 2 in the Blood at the Root series, which is a young adult fantasy. I read Blood at the Root last year, and the audience for this book series is definitely teen black boys, which I love. I wasn't the audience, so it ended up being a 3-star for me, but I love that this exists for young black boys. I think they so need it, and it's a perfect series for them. And so I want to continue supporting this author and read his work. And it's really like Amari and the Night Brothers, only a YA version, where this young kid has magic, and he ends up at a magic school, and he's trying to figure out what happened to his mom and so on and so forth. And it's just really good. It's really good for his target audience too. On July 1st, we have Party of Liars by Kelsey Cox. This is a young adult thriller. Oh no, it says adult. Okay. So it says a lavish, Texas-sized Sweet 16 turns deadly in this twisty, pulse-pounding new novel. It's serving up a fresh take on a classic locked room whodunit. On July 1st, we have Archive of Unknown Universes, which is an adult literary fiction, sci-fi, speculative, magical realism. It's got a lot of labels. So it says, this is a piercing novel following two families and alternative timelines in the Salvadorian Civil War. A stunning exploration of the mechanisms of fate, the gravity of the past, and the endurance of love. So Cambridge 2018, Anna and Luis's relationship is on the rocks, and then they go on a quest through Havana and San Salvador to uncover family histories they're desperate to know. So it looks like as they uncover those histories, we get that timeline as well. So we've got Havana 1978, the Salvadoran War is brewing. One of the characters is a young revolutionary, and the other one is Raphael, a part of the People's Revolutionary Army. Ugh, this sounds so good. On July 15th, we have A Witch's Guide to Magical InnKeeping by Sangu Mandana. It says an enchanting novel about a witch who has a second chance to get her magical powers and her life back on track. So Sarah Swan was one of the most powerful witches in Britain. Then she resurrected her great aunt Jasmine from the dead, lost most of her magic, befriended a semi-villainous talking fox, and was exiled from her magical guild. Now she, slightly reluctantly and just a bit grumpily, helps Aunt Jasmine run an inn in Lancashire, where she deals with her quirky guest shenanigans, tries to keep the talking fox in check, and longs for the magical future she lost. This looks like adult cozy fantasy, which is a genre I'm really enjoying. On July 29th, we have A Mastery of Monsters by Lizelle Sambury. This is book 1 in a new series called A Mastery of Monsters. And it says Ninth House meets Legendborn. That's all I need to know. On July 15th, of Flame and Fury by Michaela Bridge. This is a young adult fantasy. It looks like a standalone, and it's about phoenix racing. And seeing the phoenix in novels, in fantasy novels, I feel like is fairly rare, which is what piqued my interest on this. But I'm also kind of on the fence about it, so this is one where I'll probably wait and see what other people are saying about it. On July 1st, we have Tenderly I Am Devoured by Lyndall Clipstone. This is a young adult gothic horror fantasy romance. One with another, like handful of buzzwords. So it says Tenderly I Am Devoured is a moody, monstrously gothic romantasy in which a young woman must bind herself to a dangerous chthonic demon with the help of the son of a rival family to save her family's legacy and herself from ruin. So expelled from her prestigious boarding school following a violent incident, 18-year-old Lacrimosa Ariscan returns home in disgrace to discover her family on the point of financial ruin. Desperate to save them, she accepts a marriage of convenience to Therian, the chthonic god worshipped by Lark's isolated coastal hometown. And then things go wrong. I love the cover. I'm also starting to get a pretty bad headache, and I think it's affecting my speech, so I apologize. How to Survive a Horror Story by Mallory Arnold. This one comes out July 8th. This sounds a lot like the book The Writer's Retreat by Julia Bartz, which was pretty interesting. So it says, when legendary horror author Mortimer Queen passes, a group of writers find themselves invited to his last will and testament reading, expecting a piece of his massive fortune. Each have their own unique connection to the literary icon. Some known, some soon to be discovered, and they've been waiting for their chance to step into the author's shoes for some time. Instead, they arrive at his grand manor and are invited to play a game. The rules are simple. Solve the riddle and progress to the next room. If they don't, the manor will take one of them for itself. You see, the Queen estate was built on the bones of Mortimer's family, and like any true horror story, the house is still very, very hungry. This sounds like so many things that I love. It sounds like it has riddles, which y'all know I love riddles, and puzzles, a sentient house, horror, mystery, writing. Oh man, I definitely need to read this one. And it's genred or categorized as adult horror mystery thriller. Lots of genre mashups this month. Waward Girls by Susan Wiggs. This one comes out July 15th. This is an adult historical fiction. So it says, amid the turbulence of the Vietnam era in the all-American city of Buffalo, New York, teenage girls were condemned to forced labor at the Good Shepherd, a dark and secret institution controlled by the Sisters of Charity nuns. So this is about the girls who were condemned to the institution. So we meet 6 teens merely for being gay, pregnant, or simply unruly. On July 15th, we have Girl in the Creek by Wendy N. Wagner. And this is an adult mystery thriller horror. It says, the Clackamas National Forest has always been a sanctuary for evil, human and alien. Is there sci-fi in it? Interesting. The shadows of looming trees and long abandoned mines shelter poachers and serial killers alike. Then there's the ruined hotel on the outskirts of picturesque small town Faraday, Oregon, nestled in the foothills of Mount Hood. The one drowning in mushrooms and fungus not even the local expert can identify. Ugh. Not to mention the stacks of missing persons cases. Freelance writer Erin Harper arrives in Faraday to find out what happened to her brother, whose disappearance in the forest has haunted her for years. But someone else has gone missing, and when Erin finds her in the creek, the girl vanishes again. This time from the morgue. And days later, her fingerprints show up at a murder scene. Whew! That sounds really good. It looks like it might be kind of hard to get a hold of. It says, at the publisher's request, this title is being sold without digital rights management software. I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means? Let me know. On July 22nd, we have Arcana Academy by Elise Kova. And this looks like it's book 1 in a series called Arcana Academy. Looks like dark academia, adult fantasy romance or romantasy. So Clara Greysword has survived the underworld of Eclipse City through thievery, luck, and a whole lot of illegal magic. Okay, that's cool. After a job gone awry, Clara is sentenced to a lifetime in prison for inking tarot cards, a rare power reserved for practitioners at the elite Arcana Academy. Just when it seems her luck has run dry, the Academy's enigmatic headmaster, Prince Kalis, offers her an escape for a price. Kalis believes that Clara is the perfect tool to help him steal a tarot card from the king and use it to recreate an all-powerful card long lost to time. Sounds pretty interesting. Looks like a series around tarot cards. I'll be interested to see if the author acknowledges that tarot cards come from Romany. Okay. On July 1st, The Art of Vanishing by Morgan Pager. This is adult fantasy fiction, historical fiction, art. This looks like speculative fiction to me when I look at it, speculative literary fiction. So it says Jean's life. Oh yes, Jean's life is the same day in and day out. So this is actually a romance between someone stuck in a painting in a museum and someone who works at the museum. So that sounds really fascinating to me. All right, and then this is the last one for me to talk about here today. On July 8th, we have The Night Watcher by Daphne Wollstonecraft. And so in this one, oh yeah, this is high on my list to get to. So there's this phone line in Portland, Oregon that people can call in to report like unusual sightings, like hauntings and cryptics and things like that. So it says, after an encounter with a notorious serial killer in the Pacific Northwest as a child, Nola has grown up and tried her best to forget her traumatizing night with the hiding man. She now hosts Night Watch, a popular radio call-in show her semi-famous father used to run, when coincidences lead Nola to believe that she is being stalked, and a caller on the night watch has a live incident with an intruder in the caller's home. The description of whom is chillingly familiar, Nola is convinced that the hiding man has resurfaced and is coming for her. That sounds really terrifying. But yeah, I think that's high on my list. Okay, so when I look at this list, then let me share the ones that I am most interested from this. So I would say We Won't All Survive by Kate Alice Marshall is a priority. How to Survive a Horror Story by Mallory Arnold. Girl in the Creek by Wendy Wagner. And Night Watcher by Daphne Wollstonecraft. Those are the, I guess, how many is that? 4. Those are the 4 that I definitely want to prioritize from this list. Do any of these speak to you? You want to read any of them? Do you want to buddy read any of them? Let me know down below. What's coming out in July that you are keeping an eye on that I haven't mentioned that you think I should like, especially if it's cozy mysteries. Those of you who are up on what's coming out in the cozy mystery world, please share with me which ones are coming out in July, because I always have a hard time finding those. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. If you're liking my content, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're feeling really at home, join the Discord/Patreon. The Patreon is a tip jar. You can access everything we do for free by joining the Discord. If you just want to leave me an emoji to let me know that you're here, leave me the phone emoji for Night Watcher. And until next time, make sure that you continue to read good books, drink good coffee, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.